Hey guys, it's Landon at Redefined Horizons. This is the second video I'm recording that shows you how to set up what we call a boundary search drawing at Redefined Horizons at our shop. If you haven't, excuse me, I'm trying to work on my word whiskers. If you haven't, watch the previous video in this set. It just shows you how to get your search drawing set up. We have it set up here. It's got our points drawing xrefed and on the right layer. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to drop in our first couple of maps, scale them, move them, and rotate them into place. I told Britt and Cosette I would do a video that shows them how to do that. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to figure out what our scale factor is, because in my shop we always work in grid, so we're going to scale our maps down to grid after we import them. So if you're at our shop, you're going to find the scale. You'll always find the scale factor in the same place. If you go into the control folder, TBC Network, export, there should be a CSF file in there. Let's open that up. And so you can see it's got our scale factors here. I'm going to use the scale factor at 0.1. I'm just going to copy that. Okay, so we're ready to import our first block. So I'm going to, trying to work on my word whiskers. Let's open the layer manager. We're going to make a new layer, and we're going to call it blocks, subdivision maps. These are all subdivision maps. Okay, we'll make that blue. That's the layer that our blocks are going to go on. And it's important, one thing I told Britt and Cosette, it's important that in our search drawing, we always want the line work entities from the Kogo to be in a block for whatever map or deed that we're working with, because we want to move and rotate those as a unit. That's why we keep them as blocks. When we convert a boundary search drawing to a boundary line work drawing, we explode those blocks because we may need to manipulate individual entities. For example, if we're going to hold a monument instead of the record data. In our boundary resolution, I have some other videos on our YouTube channel that show you how to do that. But for this purpose, for the boundary search drawing, we're going to leave those related line work, the related line entities for a map or deed. Each map or deed, we're going to leave them as their own block. So we're going to insert, and we're going to go get our first block. First Kogo. So at my shop, those are in boundary Kogo. You can see we have quite a few to do here. Now I'm just going to fix one thing here that my folks did. We shouldn't be using the ampersand symbol. That's a no-no in a file name. So we're going to insert this map 3687. Now I'm not going to do anything here. You could scale it here, but I'm not. I'm going to insert it. Okay, it probably went down to 0, 0. It did. So I got to move that up to where my points are at, if I can find them. You know what? Let me undo that. Let's try it again. We're going to insert. I'm going to say specify on the screen. Okay, so here's my map. Now it can get a little bit tricky to figure out where this map goes on this points. Excuse me, where this map goes on these set of points. We've got 6 or 7 maps to place here. That's one nice thing about working in state plane. So if I go back to my export folder, you know what? I need to be in the working project. Okay, so I don't have it here. We should have a KML. We should have exported a KML. This is in the wrong spot. So I'll fix that. But let's go ahead and open it up. Okay, the other thing we can do while we wait for that to open is we can go open our map. So 3687, we're going to open the PDF copy of that map, which is in Boundary Research, Filed Survey Maps. Should be this one. Now, one thing we need to do when we look at our map is we need to figure out, was this done in grid or ground? I'm almost positive this is in ground, but on a newer map like this, you need to check because it might be in grid. And they usually have that in the basis of bearing. So here he's telling you it's in ground. Distance is shown at ground level. So we can scale this to grid. Okay, so here's our map, and I know that I'm on Gladstone Drive and Reflection Lane. I'm going to just pull this over. You guys won't be able to see it. So let's open Google Earth. I'm going to hit Control R to flatten this thing out. Or just R, I'm sorry. Just R. Okay, let's see here. This is Gladstone Drive and Reflection Lane. So the 2 points I have for this map are 50,005 and 50,006. And I believe those got renamed. I think I renamed them because we used the wrong point number series. So I know I'm roughly down here. Yeah, I renamed them. So there's 605 and 606. Okay, so we know where to place this map now. So these two monuments right here are these two monuments right here. That's why it's helpful to work in state plane. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our map so I can find those 2 points. So I've got this point here and this point here. So this is 605 and this is 606. So first we're going to, before we move, so we're going to scale 3 operations. Scale to get to grid, move, and then a rotate. Scale, move, rotate. Okay, so let's scale first. I have my scale factor. Remember, we got that out of our CFF. So I'm just going to run the scale command. I'm going to click this. Now it doesn't matter where I scale. I'm just going to pick a point. And we're going to enter that scale factor. Okay, that didn't work very good. So let me try that again. Scale. Something happened there with my cut and paste, guys. So let's go get that scale factor again. All right, let's try this again. So we're going to scale this map from a point here, and then we're going to insert that scale factor, and it just doesn't like that paste. So let's just pull this up where we can see it. All right, ready? We're going to try this again. So in Carlson, we're going to run the scale command. Hang on, guys. All right, trying this again. We're going to run scale. Okay, we're going to select the map with a left click, right click to close the selection. Pick our base point. Doesn't really matter where for this. We're going to enter our scale factor. So we have 0.9999, 4 nines, 475. 849. Okay, so our map is now in grid. We just scaled it down. That's the first operation. The second operation is the move. So we're going to run the move command. We're going to select our block with a left click, right click to close the selection. Now we're going to pick our first point on our map. So this is where that monument 605 is. I'm going to click that, and I'm just going to move it over. And I'm going to drop it on 605. Now, you got to make sure you have the right snap here. I want the intersection snap or the node snap. Okay, there's our map. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flatten this map. Okay, the last thing we want to do is a rotate. Now you can see, because this was done in state plane coordinates, you almost don't need a rotation. So in a situation like this, I'm going to just spin this map around my base point so that It doesn't really matter. I just want to move it off the point since it was so close so that I know when I've done the rotation. So let me show you how to do the rotation. This is the last thing we're going to do. Now the rotation is a little bit tricky. So we're going to run the rotate command. Okay, the first thing it tells you is select your entity to rotate. That's the map block. Select it with a left click, right click to close your selection. Now it says pick your rotation point. We're going to rotate from the point that we moved to. So make sure you get the right snap here. Left click. Then it says specify rotation angle or a base angle. We're going to do a base angle. So here's how you do that now. You enter R for reference, R enter, and it says pick your base angle. You got to click your base point again. That's the point we moved to. Left click. Then it says pick your second point. That's the other point on your map block. Make sure you have the right snap. Left click one time. Okay, now I've got that rotation base angle defined. The last thing to do is to click the point you want to rotate to, which for us is 606. Make sure you have the right snap. Click. Now you can see we've got a little bit of a difference between our measured and our record. That's okay. We can measure that. It looks very small. So it's got a little bit of a Z on it. So let's flatten out those Z's. So 600ths. So we basically fit really well. Okay, so now our map block is on our found points, right? And if you tie a third point, which we did down here, we can just use that as a check. I mean, that's super good. I'm less than 1/10 of a foot there. Okay, so we have the first block now placed in our search drawing. So hopefully that will help Britt and Cosette. Thank you guys for watching.